Hello, everybody in digital land. I'm Marika J. Trelaw. I'm the author of Roland the Senator's Son, and I just wanted to share something I'd wrote with relation to finishing your first novel. So I've actually called this a novel idea: 7 ways to finish your first novel. It actually comes from my belief that everybody has at least one story in them, um, and that we should really get down on paper. We dream about it, we put it on our bucket list, and sometimes we even have the courage to start. But for a lot of people, that's where they stop. Here are my 7 ways to help you finish your first novel. Simple and effective ideas, habits, and processes. They helped me a lot to not only finish my first novel, but they've actually helped me to, I'll soon be finishing not only my second, but my third, fourth, and fifth. Um, where this actually focuses more on fiction, but these techniques can also be applied to nonfiction as well. Um, so, I mean, let's get into it. There's 7 things. One of the first things is that, get your story structured down and kiss. Now, it's not keep it simple, stupid. I say keep it simple, sweethearts. Because, positive is always good. Unless you're the next Stephen King who just starts writing and then lets the story flow. By the way, this can work, but you need to be very disciplined to get anything finished. I highly suggest you give yourself a basic story structure. This can be as simple as a beginning, a middle, and an end. I know you're thinking, yeah, really simplistic. But for your first time out of the gate, keep it simple and really keep it that simple. Um, I'm a great believer in the what if. So I always start with, what if? So let's say, what if an elephant is given the power to change the world? Yeah, it could be funny. Or what if a man comes back from war and tries to fit back into his old life? We know about that one. Take my hat off to all our veterans. But what if a great grandparent, you discover this, that they were the next in line to rule some far off land, and they actually had to run away so they could marry their soulmate. I love playing the what if game, especially with my friends, and we sit around and have a chat sometimes. Now, my great what if recently was, what if I wanted to write a 50 Shades story where the girls were in charge? Yeah, that is my what if book. It's like, now, this is where we start. We have Mr. X meeting the mysterious Miss Y. What happens next? Well, that's our beginning. You get to describe your characters, places, basically set things up. Then comes the middle. All that meat of what happens next, the oh my god and the WTF moments. Must admit, I do love writing these. We can have a lot of fun with it. And then you can come up with a killer ending, or depending if you're a happily ever after believer or a realist. And you know what? I'm going to actually talk about that on another video, but let's just keep going here. Why do we do this? Well, some of us, me in particular, need finish lines. It's the same process that great authors like John Irving use. He writes um, the last part of his book first, so he knows where he's going. A little story. I wrote the outline for Roland the Senator's Son with a view for it being a series. It actually happened one night in the early hours. Actually, the exact date was the 1st of May this year. I was woken up by an idea at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Um, you know, remembering that anything you put on paper is not etched in stone, so it can evolve and change as your story grows. Um, get your story structured down and keep it simple. One quick important note to add: stay focused on one story at a time, though there's a caveat here that there's something that I've found that helps with things like writer's block, but I'm definitely going to talk about that one in another time. Um, that's number one. That's the first thing, structure. The next thing is book time with yourself. Number two, we all lead busy lives. We often think we don't have time to spare writing our novel, you know? I've got a little exercise for you. Now, I do this and have done this, used this process quite a lot when I'm looking for time. So I grab a piece of A4 paper, I draw columns, and at the head of each column, I'll put the days of the week, and then I'll actually divide each of those columns into 3 boxes. So you end up, I don't know if you can see this clearly, I'll actually put some literature with it. You know, it's rough, but it's basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right through to Saturday to Sunday, include your weekends. And we have on the side I put morning, evening, and night. Okay. The idea with doing this, you then actually sit down, you fill it in, and you go, well, you know, I work Monday to Friday, and I work between these times, and you note it down. Draw it all out, put everything in there: work, children, housework, social activities, shopping, everything you can think of. Keep going until you can't possibly think of anything else. Okay? And have a look at your week. Yeah, busy. Whoa. Well, sort of. You can find little gaps. Um, Now, I don't say this to be unkind, but most of us spend far too much time fluffing around on our social media or watching telly because God help if we miss the oh my God rude housewives of whatever county or some lip sucking insipid morons from the Bachelor house this week. Really, I'm sure you can come up with a far more entertaining story than that lot of hooey. Find your gaps in your calendar, mark them down, circle them, and then set them in concrete for yourself. This is your time to produce your dream, basically. So, you know, make it firm. So, you don't have any gaps? Make them. Get up 15 minutes early or go to bed 15 minutes later. You will be so surprised at how much you can get done in 15 minutes. And one of my favourite things I used to do when I did use public transport was writing. You can turn a mundane trip into a great adventure when you're riding on public transport. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, so now we're coming to number 3. My favourite: carry a pen and paper. But really, with the technology we have today, whatever works for you. I do carry pen and paper literally everywhere, and normally you'll find it in the pen will be in my hair. Um, But, you know, I actually, wherever I am, you know, we've got great phones now and the functionality on the mobiles are great. My Samsung Notes get smashed some days, depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going. I love it when I can write on the screen, I can type it in, or I can use talk to text. That little microphone is a bloody godsend some days. Um, you know, my record is 3 chapter drafts in one day while I was still tripping about because Melbourne's like not easy to get around, by the way, guys. And a final thought on this: just be prepared. You know, that being prepared and having your utensils with you makes a huge difference. Okay, the next one's one of my favorites. This is about finding your groove. Now, when I say finding your groove, it's about working when and where you're most creative, um, and when you can get into your writing those easiest. For some of us, it's the early hours or late hours of the night, early hours of the morning. You know, my best time is between midnight and 3 a.m. You know, not always very social after that, but anyway, I really do like a quiet, warm, comfortable space when I'm writing. Though on occasion, I've been known to you know fall into a writer's bubble in some busy cafe. Um, it really is about finding what can turn your creative juices on without hassle. Um, Again, apply KISS. You know, we don't need to, don't overthink it. Don't think you need to run away to some mountain resort sanctuary able to get anything written. Over time, you find you're able to actually create your writer's bubble pretty much anywhere, but it takes practice and it takes time. Okay, the next one is so important for your first novel because it can be a real big. This one actually helped me finish. It's like talk to people about your story. Now, those people, people you trust. So it can be family and friends. And you're not looking for people to polish you, you're looking for people that become interested. One of the best things I ever did was talk about my story to those I trust. Um, Nothing will help you finish a story faster than an enthusiastic reader. Point in fact, for Roland the Senator's Son, I wrote the whole outline, and as I was saying, on the one morning of the 1st of May this year, 2019, I also managed to write the first two chapters. I was curious to see if there was going to be any engagement with an audience because it was a different genre to what I'd written before. So I put the first chapter up on my personal Facebook page, and I could not have done like that was the best thing I could have ever done for myself and for the actual book too. Um, within and mind you, this was a very rough draft, and I'll tell you a little story, and you'll hear a bit more about my writing in a moment. But anyway, within a very short period of time, and I mean less than 30 minutes, I had my first comments. One of those first comments was Karen Crombie from Exact Editing, who has become my editor. Amazing lady, and you need to get in touch with her if you want to actually do something for yourself. Their feedback and support was invaluable. From from that point of view, from that I created a safe space that I could actually put my work up, which was a secret Facebook group. I invited those people that wanted to come and join me on the journey. They actually got to read the rough chapters. They read them and they commented. Over the month, it, you know, as each chapter was written, it was shared with the group. They were my cheer squad. They pushed me. They prodded me. They, right down to the point where one of the readers was very vocal and would actually text me with, "Bloody hell, woman, when is the next chapter coming?" Um, these people have become my sneeze crowd. They have written reviews and they've promoted my finished book to their family and friends. And they've also got bragging rights. How would think about this? Wouldn't you love to be one of those people that got to read the first draft of the next Lord of the Rings or the next 50 Shades? Um, you know, that's just amazing. Okay, the next point, make use of available software. Now, as I was saying before, people got to read my rough drafts. For those that don't know, I am partially dyslexic. And reading can be a real challenge for me. So even though I write something, sometimes when I read it back, it doesn't always sort of connect in my head. So to make sure that what I've written makes sense, I need to hear it read back to me. So, I don't yet have my own secretary, and I'm thinking of a nice Mr. Moneypenny. For those that know me, they'll understand. I use great software. Now, the best I have found, and I have been through a lot of them, is naturalreaders.com. I mean, it is the best. It sounds the most natural when you use it, and even their free version is just amazing. Um, I cut and paste what work I've done into it, and I then get to listen and do a first edit. Um, as I previously mentioned, I use Samsung Notes and my phone, on my phone, and I use Excel spreadsheets to keep track of character details and chapter outlines. I am a traditional touch typist, so I can actually type as fast as I can talk. But you don't have to be. You can dictate your story and send it to a group like rev.com. They'll actually transcribe it to a Word document for you for $1 a minute. It's amazing. A quick note here. Look, if anybody finds anything, please let me know. I'm always interested in finding great ways of getting my story down. Okay. Now, this is the final point, and this is really where, as a friend of mine says, rubber meets road, or it hits your solar plexus and you've got to invest. Take it seriously. Write every day and give yourself a word count. Okay, I'm going to start with the word count in this final point. The average A4 page with 1.5 lines at 12 font ranges between 250 and 300 words, at an approximate, right? There are varying opinions as to the length of the average fiction novel, and look, they range from, some ridiculously small amount to some big amount, 50,000 to 100,000 words. Let's just say. So let's just say, for argument, you're looking at a novel that's, you want to create something around 65,000 words, and really your story will be as long as your story is. Okay? That's up to you. But I'm trying to encourage you here. If you were to give yourself 1,000 word count a day, which by the way is not that much, and I can actually give you examples of people. I mean, I actually pretty much write between 1,000 and 3,000 words a day, just depending on what's happening. Um, that's about 4 pages a day. So if you were to do that 7 days a week, you'd get to 65,000 within just over 2 months. Even if it took you double that amount of time and you're only doing 500 words a day, in 4 months' time, you could actually have something that you could give to an editor and proofreader and actually be on your way to having your novel out there. You know, this is it's nothing, it's up to you. Really, in the end, it's all up to you. There are literally hundreds and thousands of techniques, hints, tips, software, whatever. But really, it's all about you making a little time every day to put your dream on paper. I fully believe, I fully believe this because you know, you have to give your dream what it deserves, your time. I did. I gave it my time, and I was able to finish my first novel. Seriously, and if I can do it, you can do it too. You know, I do these things on a daily basis. I am practicing them myself. I know it works. My wish is that I hope this has encouraged you to to at least give it a go. And from myself and Mr. Bailey here, if you're interested in seeing my results, please pick up a copy of Roland the Senator's Son and let me know what you think. Um, I would love to hear from you, to hear what you think. And if you found this useful, please share it with your friends. Have a great day, guys, and just write and enjoy. Love life. Bye from MJ.